This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to another edition of the Pit Stop, where we cover today's sim racing news and we discuss all the various topics that are going on in our world of simulated motorsports. Happy Monday to all of you out there. Thank you for joining the stream. I hope you all had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. I ended up working most of Saturday, and then I actually took Sunday off to just kind of work on my rig a little bit, do some personal things, and just get some much-needed time off. But here we are back on Monday, back covering the sim racing news, and I'd like to thank you all for being here. And I just want to thank all of you, part of the pit crew. The live streams that I've been doing have been so much fun for me. It's allowing us to do something we've never done in sim racing, which is just really talk about things. Instead of me just getting up here and telling you what I think, it's so important to get your guys' input and your thoughts. And to be perfectly honest with you, so many of you know more about individual topics than I do. Sure, I might know what's going on with this, that, and the other thing, but I don't know as much about certain topics as you guys do. So I really do depend on you, the pit crew, to add to this show and make it as fun and interesting as it's been. And I come in on Mondays hoping for a lot of news that went on over the weekend. And I will say, this was a pretty quiet weekend in the world of simulated motorsports. And I guess with so many games just having come out and a little lull until the next wave comes, we'd expect things to be a little bit quiet. So we will kind of blow through today's news and maybe talk about other things if there are other things on your guys' mind. So, number one, some hellos. Hello, Jamal. Hello, Carb. Hello, Kansas. And hello, Dennis in Stockholm, Sweden. Hello, Mike. So, thank you all for being here. Let's talk, actually, before we get to the news, since we have so many hellos, let's go ahead and look at the pit stop map. We can see it's continuing to fill in. Our density in Europe and North America is just rather fascinating. You can see just how diversified our sim racing world is, though. We are all over the place, and it is great to see so many people from so many regions taking part in sim racing, and more importantly, being part of the pit crew. So, very cool on that. And, really good point, El Bucho. I wasn't sure if I wanted to mention that today on today's show. I like to keep things so positive, but yeah, if you haven't heard, really terrible thing in Vegas going on. A disgusting amount of people have lost their lives and gotten injured. So, like you, El Bucho, my thoughts and prayers are to everybody in that tragedy, and anybody watching. I mean, honestly, when I heard that news, it actually took me down quite a bit. So even if you're not involved, it's quite a psychological thing to deal with for everybody. Hello, Michael. Tom, there's a slight issue with Turn 10 in Forza. VIP is now limited. You know, again, new game. I expect some patches very quickly to start rolling out, and we're going to talk some more about Forza in just a moment here. Hello, Belgium. Hello, England. Hello, Portugal. Hello, Tennessee. Hello, Chili Dog. Brazil, UK. And Jamal is the only pen in the center of the world. As of now, you are, Jamal. I know of others. They just haven't chimed in yet, so you're not the only one. Alright. Hello, Poconos. Hello, Norway. Trondheim, Norway. Hello, Ron. Hello, Quick Draw from Germany. Okay, let's move on. We were talking Forza, so let's continue with this topic. And this weekend, I told you guys it was going on Saturday. There was a stream, a big shot of Joseph Newgarden here. And Tanner Faust and Joseph Newgarden were going to be at this launch party they were doing at the Peterson Automotive Museum. I unfortunately was not able to go. I did get an invite from a good friend of mine, and I appreciate that, Tomas, but I was not able to make it. But he did, so we might get some footage from there. But more importantly, I just want to talk about that they are really keeping the promo going. So it's not just up till launch, but you know, I'm going to play a little of this video because I saw it and I thought it was kind of cool. Oh, you can't hear him. I need to fix that.
I just want you guys to take a look at something real quick.
I almost want to fix that right now on the spot.
That's right.
Anyway, Joseph Newgarden leading the leaderboard there at their launch party. I think that was cool, but here a shot of him and Tanner doing their little demo, and I'm not sure, I believe that's Joseph actually driving right there. So, Not sure if any of you got to watch the stream. It was live streamed. I don't know if there was new information that they gave to us that I'm not aware of just yet. I did do some playing over the weekend as well. I've actually switched my Fanatic gear, and I'm going to do a live stream following this show with some more Forza 7, mainly for my own selfish reasons, but you guys might as well see as I dig deeper into the game, preparing for my my full review of it, which I will do, even though we're kind of already to the point that it's late. Hey, Stefan from Thailand now. Max Verstappen, that's a good point. Happy birthday. Max Verstappen wins Malaysia in a hectic, crazy race that I was not able to watch, but I heard from so many different people what went on. So, sounds like it was a really fun race to watch, and it was his birthday weekend. So, Max Verstappen, I believe that's his second win of his career, and you think of the kid's age, and to be able to already be winning on that level is a real testament to his skill. And we've all talked about him, because as a sim racer, he's one of our heroes. We know his first time at Malaysia was in a sim, not on the track. And that was one of the great things about him getting into Formula 1 was this kid hadn't seen so many of the tracks that he was going to be running on. And it was simulation that he used. And we saw so many different shots of him at home in, you know, official simulators doing all the work to get ready. And he's here. Max Verstappen is the real deal. There is no taking away from that. Willie's talking about pit crew animations from iRacing. That'll be a nice enhancement to the sim. Hello, William. Right on, Stefan. I'm very jealous of you. I'd like to make it out there. I'd like to make it all over the world. Tom is my car name. Max is my dog's name. Max Cole or Max Verstappen. I rescued the dog and he came with the name Max. And I never changed it. I figured if that's what he knows, that's what he is. I'm not changing his name. So I think of it as Max Cole. But yes, we can act as though I was clever enough to name him after Max Verstappen. But between you, me, and the pit crew, I wasn't thinking ahead that much. Hey, AJ, and that's what it's all about. Just hanging out, talking sim racing. Sim racing news is all over the world for you to get. I'm not doing anything. I'm not reinventing the wheel or doing rocket science here. But I thought the whole concept of being able to hang out and talk about the news was a lot more important than just knowing what's going on. Sometimes we might have a take. Again, getting back to Forza, they're doing all this promo. We've heard of some issues. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on the game, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have had a chance to play it. As I go deeper and get more used to the physics, have to admit that I am having more and more fun with it. That is for sure. Keeping it all in perspective, I know what kind of game it is. I know where it stands on the sim racing versus arcade ladder. But at the same time, I'm having a lot of fun. I will find that out. Do the rumble for the PS4 Fanatic wheel? They should, El Bucho. I won't find that out, but they should. The rumble motors should work in... it depends on the game and whether they're fully supporting the Fanatic. Now that I'm thinking clearly, PS4 would require support from the game in order to do it. In theory, yes, they should be able to work. Yeah, practice makes perfect at CPANG and anywhere else. PC2 Tracker IR. Alright. Michael, there you go. I'm sure if he's watching, he's heard. There you go. Hello, South Carolina. Yes, William, good point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I have that on my radar as well. If you don't own it already. And Dirt Rally, in my opinion, is pretty much the best dirt game since Richard Burns Rally. And I'm not going to say they're comparable, because Richard Burns Rally is what it was. I'm not going to take anything away. But we don't get a lot of great rally games. Dirt Rally was pretty darn good. It's 75% off on the Xbox. So if you want to take advantage of that, if you've not played it, you're not going to find it cheaper than that. Any cheaper would practically be a giveaway. Highly recommend if you haven't played Dirt, get in there. Whatever 25% of normal pricing is so cheap that you will get more than your bang for the buck out of it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. There's no way you're going to get that and say, oh, this is not fun. Rhinos, any advice for newcomers? It depends on whether you're at the console level playing with controllers or if you're at the steering wheel. But, I mean, my biggest advice, number one, is to have fun. My number two advice is to treat this like a sport. And like any sport, we do the work to prepare. It's called practice. And we hone our skills. We perfect our skills. We watch our replays to make sure our driving line looks good. But keep having fun. The biggest advice is to ask for help. Don't be shy. It's not one of those things like being lost and looking at a map and wanting... Ask for help. We're all gamers. We're all hobbyists. And we're all here to have fun. And most people will give you a hand. So that is my biggest advice, is to keep asking for help. Get in a sim you like. Talk to others. Find out what the higher roads. Join a league. Things like that. I am Mr. Fuss. It's a buggy mess. Yeah, I'm having a couple issues, a couple of crashes, a couple little things going on, but it's got incredible potential. Tom, same thing there. And don't forget your wallet, especially if you're going to get into iRacing. Maxwell Smart. Yes. If you guys want to know, now I'm telling you too much. I call him Maxwell Wigglesworth. And that's because he's always wiggling. The dog wags his tail like no other dog I've ever seen, just constantly. So he's Maxwell Wigglesworth. Sorry, that's a little embarrassing. I prefer a sim rig, Maddox, but that comes down to my level of racing more than my space allocation. Getting in that proper driving position, getting your monitors where they belong, getting a super comfortable position is a good way to get better. Background picture. We're going to talk about that in a second, Jamal. We're going to come right back to that. R.I.P. Burns. Mods for Dirt Rally. That would be great. That's one of the things that made Richard Burns Rally so great, was the modding efforts that went into it later. Sorry, Tom. See you later, though. It's free. Thank you, Willie. Dirt Rally's free right now if you have the Xbox Game Pass. Another person talking about buggy on Forza. Yeah, mine on the loading screen is where it seems to have a problem. Yeah, we talked about, Michael, you brought that up. I don't think I do actually have it because I have something else. But CPANG for Raceroom. So that is out. We've talked about that a little bit last week as the news was coming along. And since I brought up their page, what was the other thing I want to talk about from Raceroom? I know they're Mercedes. This is something, and again, I've said it before, I'm very guilty of not following this Mercedes AMG eRacing. And this is one of those big competitions. I'm not exactly sure the grand prize and all of that, but it is getting a lot of publicity. And when we talk about eSports and the future of it, which is going to be one of our topics coming up on the Sim Tunnel, but, you know, eSport is growing, and the ability to make some money and be in some very, very high level of competition against your competitors is happening more and more. So that is one thing I did want to mention about Raceroom, not just the track CPANG, but also that, you know, that's already round 9. So this has been going on for quite some time, and I can play that video while I talk a little bit. Turn down my volume so you don't have to hear it in the background. Phil, we're going to talk, well, very briefly. I don't have any real super big news on that front just yet. I am Mr. Fuss. Yeah, the force feedback, it just takes a little while to get it dialed in. Nothing on the DD wheel. I just sent them an email to see if there's anything more. What else? What else? Your cat is called Ilo Pukanin Princessa. Joy Little Princess. Thank you for matching me on an embarrassment level. I appreciate that, Willie. Raceroom is very good. Yes, Rhinos. That's a great place to get your feet wet. Oh, you got to get off that laptop. You got to get yourself a wheel, mount it to a desk or something, and then drive it like crazy. Yeah, Pillowkin, you know, for the cost of the Sims, you know, we could talk about hardware and the price being just out of control. We can talk about iRacing being very expensive in the grand scheme of things, but when you're talking about Project Cars, Forza, Raceroom, at its core at least, you know, when you're talking $30 to $60 for a title, for most of us, that's not going to break the bank. And when this is our hobby, you know, that's not a ton of money when you divide it by the amount of hours of enjoyment. Now, if money's tight, money's tight. There's no getting around that. I'm not going to act like money's free or grows on trees. But at the same time, most of the games or sims are usually worth the cost of admission. Project Cars 2, even as a hardcore sim racer, even if I say, okay, this isn't exactly dialed in for me, I'm still going to get my money's worth out of it, out of the diversity of cars and tracks, seeing the career mode and all the things that they did to make it different. I mean, for me, as a hobbyist, I like to always be imagining the perfect sim and taking a piece of the pie from every sim. And the only way I can really know what my ultimate sim would be, and that could be another sim tunnel topic one day, and it should be. I'm going to write that one down. Bear with me, guys. Sorry, I have to take notes or I forget. Pizza. Sim Pizza. Building the best sim. Sim Pizza, guys. That's what I'm talking about. And William, I agree. Assetto Corsa Automobilisto both get you a long way. R Factor 2. I don't want to take away from anybody in that. GT Academy is a great path. You win in the GT Academy, and everybody who has won that has gone on to a fairly successful career. Yep, AJ, pit crews, animated pit crews are coming. Don't know the exact release date. Same thing like Rallycross is coming very quickly. Don't know the exact release date. Some of these things are sort of like, when it's ready, it will be implemented. I've done a lot of Project Cars in VR and had no issues myself, but those were always on dialed-in systems. Hello, Angel. No, I do have a wheel. Okay, good, Rhinos. Then you're on the right path. Definitely. Get off that laptop. It's not allowing you to get the frame rate that you really need. I mean, if it's all you got, it's all you got. Like I said, money doesn't grow on trees. No, and there's some other things within Project Cars 2 that are still coming along. So, finished drivers are the fastest. G29, that's a fine wheel. That'll do you just fine until you get very, very, very deep into your sim racing career. William, I agree. Great rig, great rig. Yep. I'm agreeing with most of what you guys are saying here. Hey, Sean. Muddy, I agree. Steph, iRacing still ends up being more expensive than anything else as far as the software side of things going. There's no denying that, and I love iRacing. I do. But it is really expensive even compared to buying every piece of DLC with Forza. Yeah, they're a little, well, yeah, the Middle East, well, most of the people I can think of that have won GT Academy have gone on. I think also in the beginning, everybody had a little bit more enthusiasm for the whole program, and it started to taper off just a little bit as far as how much dedication there is to the whole thing. Hello, Reggae. Carlos, I would say Project Cars 2 is on the side. Wait, how much of simulation in PC or console? It's a very similar game across platform, and I would say that on the console side, they're one of the most close to sim you're going to get. On the PC side, they're closer to sim than arcade, but they still are falling short of, say, an Assetto Corsa R Factor 2 iRacing in terms of being full-blown sim. A Butto rig's a great rig. I'm not sure what you're saying there, El Bucho, but I happen to love that rig. Frederick, a gaming and yes, that is a great combination. The Achilles heel of that combination would be the pedals, but even those are moddable, and you can upgrade them, especially if you're on the PC side of things later. That's a really good setup, though. I would have no hesitation recommending that to anybody. I did not, Phil. I wanted to, and I've been very short on time with everything. You wouldn't believe how far behind I am. Not just the live shows, but the edited shows and everything else. So, I was not able to run in that. I wish I had. And HCAR, I believe PCs are always better than consoles, even in the identical game. Mainly because they usually allow us to use better equipment. They usually have triple screen support. You usually can run a higher frame rate. If modding ever does come to the title, it'll be on the PC side. So I have a good chunk of reasons why I prefer the PC. Not to mention, if you're running on the PC, it means that you can run all the other great sims. Willie, I look forward to winter when it comes to sim racing. When the nights get longer and it's darker, I get better lighting in my room for racing. The cold weather makes it easier for me to not overheat. I seem to have less of a social life in the winter than in the summer. So I find time easier to come by. So winter really is my sim racing time. Alright, so many things you guys are talking about. I don't mind keep going with this. I have a few more stories I want to touch upon, I think. We might have covered them all already, by the way. There wasn't a lot of news out there. Somebody right before the stream said something that I'm going to bring up or come back to, just as one more thought, but love your guys' discussion. I'm not calling out every comment, but I see you guys are having just some great conversation about various things. Talking about various wheels, sims, camera angles. Marquise, I don't know. I mean, if you buy it directly from Bodner, no. You could go the OSW route, save some money, which is very similar. Excuse me, sorry about that, you guys. Hey, Max Payne. Thank you very much, Paul. I had a really good time with the Sim Tunnel, and there were great discussion from you guys out there. So sorry you couldn't make it live, but we had a lot of fun, and I'm going to keep doing those. And I'm going to talk about my schedule coming up here before the end of the show, because we're going to have a little change over the next week as I am leaving town. Sweden and Finland. I'd love to go visit and maybe even move to such things. Such places, I should say. Thank you, Reggae. I'm having a lot of fun. The live shows, I will admit, they are taking away some of my time from doing the edited shows. But I think they have more community benefit in some ways, too. So, I'd like to find the balance is what I really need to do. I need to get some help is what I really need to do. No official plans for SRS yet. I'm leaning towards one of two cars. I need to do a final test. The Ferrari 312 and the Porsche 962. Porsche 962. Frederick, it would be iRacing as long as that includes the multiplayer and all the people that go with it. And that's the reason why, by the way. Phil, yeah, I would think you're right about the force feedback, and that in theory we can have a much deeper layered force feedback. I don't know if every game takes full advantage, and I don't know what the real boundaries, when you look at, like, SimVibe software and the amount of settings that are really provided coming from most of the PC sims, in theory, all of that stuff's available to your wheel. The only problem is you need fancy logarithms to convert those signals into forces. But in theory, you could have very, very detailed and very, very layered force feedback, and that's going to far exceed, the PC version of that would far exceed the consoles for sure. And Willie, yeah, it's a long... Yeah, my winter is very, very short, so maybe that's why I look forward to it so much. We did a whole topic on VR, Shurkin, and I'm still on triple screens. A lot of that is because of the show that I film. A lot of that is because I'm still right at that 50-yard line or right at the crest of the hill for VR. I just need a couple more little enhancements out of it, and I'll probably be there full time. I love VR. I have very little negative to say about it yet. No, but I'm trying to get you that answer, Albucho, on the Ricmotech Mini Direct Drive, and I'm not sure if it's Mini or if that was just a perception photo of some kind. Matt, I don't have a lot of time on Assetto Corsa on the consoles. I can speak highly of it on the PCs. Maybe some of our viewers here can help you out with the console version. It should be a very good version of a console game. I have heard of some issues with, I believe, the Xbox One that they're working on, but I think it's still playable. I don't think it's completely dead. But others can back me up on that better than I can. Hendrick, inverted versus formula pedals. Just completely personal style. I don't think there's a huge benefit. I think there's a reason in automotive construction why they do one or the other for various types of cars. For me, if you're truly like comparing the Fanatic inverted versus the Fanatic formula, it comes down to what do you drive more. If you drive GT cars, I find there's just a little bit more throw or a sense of throw on the inverted version. On the Formula 1 version, they seem just a little bit stiffer, even though they're technically very similar pedals. So I think that if I was looking for shorter travel and I was going to really stiffen them up with the tuning kit, I would probably go Formula. If I was going to leave them long throw and do GT driving, I'd probably go with the inverted. If money wasn't an object. There's a $200 difference. I mean, so you call that one of the benefits also. Oh, yeah, exactly, William. So it's your other hobbies that have you using sim racing in the winter. That makes total sense. Hello, Philippines. William, good point on heel towing. Michael, I will try to do that better. Thank you. Michael asked if I can paraphrase some of the questions that I'm answering. I almost didn't paraphrase your question. This almost is becoming a sim tunnel, an open topic version of the sim tunnel. I'm going to... Actually, I'm not even able to catch up with you. I'm going to advance all my messages. I'm sorry, guys. If anybody had anything really important, please retype it, because I had to catch back up with you, and I want to get back to the news and finish up the news portion of this very quickly, or we will be here all day long. World's Fastest Gamer Round 3 did just finish. Davey DeCorpse, Freak Shot Horst, and Jamie Fluke were our top 3. So that championship is really starting to get to its final stages. And one of these guys, you look at this list of names here, one of these guys is going to be one of those finalists to that McLaren, you know, World's Fastest Gamer, and get a shot at, gosh, working for McLaren. I can't even imagine taking my sim racing world and then having that transmit into a job at McLaren. Other things, we mentioned Dirt on sale, 75% off. We talked about Max Verstappen. We talked about, this is the Mercedes AMG that I was talking about. Julian Kuntz won this week's race on Raceroom in that Mercedes AMG competition. Where did that go? I'm lost. We talked Forza. We talked Fastest Gamer. So the last thing I had was the photo that we did have up. And this is just something out of Thrustmaster. And I'll try to get a bigger photo version here. And I brought it up because I thought they were really cool looking rigs. And I love when I see a row of rigs in such a beautiful automotive setting like this. And you know me, I love when sim racing meets the public eye for the first time. And when it's seen in its best light, it's how we are going to make tomorrow's sim racers. And so hopefully the people at whatever this party or thing for GT Sport going on was... really got turned on to sim racing, maybe bought themselves a copy of GT, maybe bought a Thrustmaster wheel because it's what they're driving, and maybe they're people we will be racing against tomorrow. Anyway, it was mainly for the photo itself. I thought it was really cool, and it was an event. The actual details are pretty small. Aren't these TGT booths beautiful? It doesn't really tell us where it is. Is it GT Sport? No, AU... Might have been down in the AU. That's something. I don't even know where it was actually at. But again, the photo caught my eye, and I thought it was very cool on a short news day. So, AJ, I think it did. I will double, triple check, though. Let me write myself a note to check for your email. If you want to send it again, I wouldn't be offended. You could just resend it, and I know it would be on today's mail, and I'll make sure to answer it for you. Well, that's wrong notepad, but that'll work. Do you have a gyro? Yes, you probably could. Danka's asking about a linear setup for force feedback wheels on a Assetto Corsa. I'm not sure if that's how I'd approach that. If you could be more specific about what you're asking, maybe I can give you an answer. I am planning a beginner's guide for most sims and wheels, and something I'm working on right now in the background. So these would be the 1, 2, 3 of getting things set up and going. I'm not sure if that would answer all of your questions. And now you're TSL is saying he's given up on the Jack Spade force feedback. I haven't tried it yet. I've saw a bunch of people saying you got to do it. Then I saw a bunch of people saying, nah, not so much. For me, I like to take the time to just get everything dialed in. Make a little change, do some driving. Make a little change, do some driving. Takes a little time, but as you get it, you can really tune it to what you perceive a car or sim should feel like. Yeah, they have a direct drive wheel. It won't be a open wheel because theirs is available to everybody, so to speak. And it will be their proprietary software and hardware and all of that kind of stuff. But it is coming. Still don't know exactly the price or the date that it will be available, but we know it's coming. Dialing, the best way is to really piece it together. You find a chassis, the rig itself, that you like. There are a lot of companies to choose from. You've seen a few mentioned. Oboto's a great one. I'm a big fan of R-Seat. They are one of the sponsors of the show, in all fairness. But you know me, I'm honest. You can see reviews of most of these things on shows and find one that suits your needs. Sometimes it comes down to availability where you live. Same thing with the steering wheels. You know, there are great wheels available from Fanatic, Thrustmaster, and even Logitech. I think once you've spent about $300 on a wheel, you're getting into wheels that will last you a long time and give you some great sim racing. So, in a nutshell, that's my answer. Yeah, Frederick, that'll be awesome. On Xbox, the Dirt is 75% off on Xbox. So, go to the Xbox store, and they have it on sale, apparently. I want the AMG in the background as well. Big time. I'd love to have one of those cars. Such a beautiful car, and then it comes around the corner, it sounds like a beast. Licenses. Yes, and that, Sir Sugar, I want to talk about licenses in just a minute, and that gets back to a question that was posted right before the show. I'm going to talk about that, and then we'll bring things to an end. The 2.5 is great. I don't foresee them doing a V3. I haven't heard of anything, I should say, on a V3, and the 2.5 was a huge upgrade over the 2.0, so I don't foresee them doing any changes to that for just a little while, at least, especially with them releasing the CSLs and now the direct drive wheel. Carb, that's the best way to get it. Yeah, Frederick, I mean, using a desk, when I first got a wheel, I actually drilled holes in my desk, and they were ugly, sure, but it allowed me to hard mount the wheel to even my desk. I was on a rolling chair, but I put a bungee cord that connected it so it wouldn't roll away. I taped my pedals to the floor so they wouldn't move around at all. There are ways, even on a desk, to just make it work, and then you can always change your desk into a rig or just build up a wood rig if you want. William, yeah, the Ricmotech rig is the combination. It's like a perfectly made DIY project. There are a few things. Simbin is, to the best of my knowledge, most of Simbin has been divided in half. Half of them you're going to find at Project Cars under the Ian Bell. And then the other half are now with Sector 3 and doing Raceroom. There could be some fragmented groups that also went from the Simbin explosion. And I don't know anything of Skunkworks, so if it's something I can look into. I've not even heard about it, so that's very cool. The only Skunkworks I had was when CXC talked about a Skunkworks for the mods they had done their Chotus, the Lotus, and Button Willow. Deka, linear setup is when I program tests the wheel and makes a file which games can use for better force feedback. To be honest with you, that's completely over my head. When it comes to force feedback, I use my own settings. I use clipping bars and meters to see when I've exceeded it, and I find that I actually have to change it very often from car to car based on the weight of the car and what I want out of my wheel. If you give me some links or information, I'm more than happy to cover that topic, and I totally appreciate you bringing it up. So if it helps people, I'm all about it. The Playseat Sensation Pro. Daniel, let me double check which one that is really quick. Oh yeah, I've driven this rig. This is a really good rig. Now, I don't know the price point, and before I say my real thoughts on price point, Playseats tend to be a little expensive, even for their low-end models. This is obviously a high-end model out of them. I'm guessing it's very pricey. I will have to talk to them about getting one in. I've driven this rig as well, the Top Gear, which is very similar. It's a good, solid rig. It's heavy. It's not what you'd expect from Playseat, that's for sure. Dylan asks, what's better for sim racing, 4K curved TVs or 3 monitors? If you can get your 4K curved TV at a speed of a true monitor, you use the word TV versus monitor, usually that comes down to refresh rate and speed. If you can get a 4K that's as fast in milliseconds as your monitors, I would say that's going to be better. It's monster graphics. The only problem is, well, and 3 monitors is better than 1 curved TV. If that, okay, I think that's your question. So, that's my answer. 3 monitors is better than 1 4K, in my opinion. John, we had a whole conversation on aliens, and I think that is only one of the things Shumi did. You know, I had heard at one point he actually put in the clutch and would coast through corners certain moments. So, thank you very much, Johnny. So, I think there are a lot of little tricks that he and the aliens, and all aliens do. Muddy, your TX wheel is a fine wheel. And you'll find people who might even prefer the Fanatic wheel. And I'm not even going to take that argument at this moment. What I'm saying is that is a great wheel, and it is not the reason you're not going faster. Would you be quicker with a better wheel? Maybe, maybe not. Red Racer, there is a 2.5 PS4 edition. You buy the PS4 wheel rim, put it on the 2.5, and I believe that gets you the compatibility. They have, I believe they have the, if you want, I'll try to pull this up while we're here. I should close some of these windows. Let me get my keyboard handy and show you what I'm talking about. We are going long. I guess you guys don't want me to get to some Forza driving today. I'm kidding. I don't mind doing this. I think you guys know that. My lighting just changed. Sorry about the blown out lighting. Apparently it just got bright in the world here. Bundles. PS4. Come on, Internet. That's not the one I want. Hold on. I have another one somewhere. Bear with me. Give me a moment. Sorry. I just like to get you guys as much information as I possibly can. So yeah, here's the Xbox. Oh, it's the Xbox One version. Sorry about that. I knew I remembered something of the sort. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you can put... So let's grab a 2.5 wheelbase. Sorry, I'm taking a long diversion on you guys here. So at this point, it is not... Yep. Sorry, I misspoke. I want to make this very clear. It is not currently PlayStation. So great question. I don't have an answer for you on that. I'm assuming it's on the works. The other option would be going to the CSL Elite PS4 version, obviously, but that's not quite the same. I tell you, it's a great wheel. B. Carl, I agree. That engine on the AMG is amazing. And El Bucho, any other rigs? There's so many rigs out there. So many rigs to choose from. And I agree. AJ says some of the best sims are the ones you build yourself. I completely agree. 100%. And I've built so many different types of rigs, and I've loved every one of them. Try to catch up with you guys. Great conversation going on, you guys. This is awesome. You guys are talking so much, I can't even... keep up with you guys. Denka, I'm not sure. If you could please email me then. Email me the link. That would be awesome. My email is Sean, S-H-A-U-N, as you guys are spelling correctly there, at thesimpit.com. And I'd love to feature it. So please do if you can. Paul, I will do my best. It's going to be hard for me to throw things in like that, but today in today's stock market, the Dow has hit a new record high, and I don't know if that helps you out any, but there you go. Yeah, Bucho, thank you very much. El Bucho always got my back. Thank you very much. The Hub, Sean, we are the Hub. The Hive. There's another talk show called The Hive. I always like that one. AJ, I agree. CSL Elite is a great wheel. I just put that back on my rig for Forza testing today, by the way. No, he's sleeping. He's actually sleeping, and no gardeners here. It's been a quiet morning. I should change my lighting on my webcam real quick. Bear with me, you guys. We're having a few of these moments today, apparently. Turn things down just a little bit. That's a little too dark, but that's better than blowing you out. Sorry. Alright, back to what we were talking about. No, don't, John, please don't shut up. I really, thank you, Denka. I really appreciate all of the comments, and that's one of the reasons why, and I say it all the time, I could just cut and paste these news articles and put them on my Twitter or Facebook feed or on the website. But a lot of times they are worth talking about more in detail. I mean, you know, I could turn this photo into a whole conversation of what do you guys think of the TGT. You know, so I just do want you guys to understand the whole concept behind this, which is that the news is great. And even when I watch the news, the real news, man, it would be so much cooler if I could interact with those people and actually give some opinion. And that's what this opportunity, when I talk about Forza, you know, I want you guys to be able to come in and say, hey, it's still buggy. You know, and I want to know about that, because maybe for every bug somebody knows about, maybe somebody else knows about the solution to the bug as well. And that's where that depth of having you guys involved is so much better than getting just cut and paste news. AJ, I hear him a little bit, but since the patch, I did just do the patch, that one with the rumbling. I'm gonna have to. The new setting is FEI, and that's that super rumbling. I'm not sure if that update also did something to the fans, but mine's been fairly quiet. I'll know more because I'm about to do about an hour and a half of Forza on it, so we'll know more at that point. GTR racing simulators? Nope, but I can give them a call as well. The Chodas team had a rough day. at Button Willow. Let me bring that up. I need my other browser for that one. Check in on the B team. Everybody following that story on the guys from the Lotus from CXC. It's not all CXC, but a couple of the guys from CXC are actually involved with this team. So they had a rough weekend, actually. They're leading the way, so I did do a post. And at the beginning of the race, what do you know? There they are, B team. Just Plain Stupid's their other name. Number 1. They were leading the way for a while. And the car is fast. And they've got some great drivers. And at some point, they're still in first place. Then they dropped back to 8th with the pit. And then it threw a belt and mildly overheated. New belt installed. Happily driving. Then they got a bang, rear end lockup, no power situation on the front straight. At which point they're pretty close to dead in the water. Problems were in the transmission. They had to pull the whole motor, everything. You can see this custom front nose clip they've built, making it so it just pulls right off the front of the car. And they did get it back out for day 2. So they did that change overnight, which is the beauty of running Lemons. You will work all night long just to get that car back on the field again. And then they had another problem. They had a whole rear end problem with the mounts for the rear end. And without getting some Jaguar XJS specific parts, they're dead in the water. And the odds of finding some Jaguar XJS parts in the middle of the Central Valley Desert are slim to none. So then I guess it became donut eating time. And that was pretty much the end of the event for them. So I haven't talked to any of the guys yet. I'm sure they had a lot of fun. But they didn't have the best thing. And I have to admit, that's sort of the history of the Chotus. It's a very potent car, and its reliability has something to be desired. Frederick, that's awesome news. Everybody see that? You can get Assetto Corsa Plus Dream Pack 1, 2, and 3 for €13. That's great. And yeah, Michael, they've really cut down on that a lot. The easiest way would be through a Fanatic, but you're going to need multiple wheel rims in order to accomplish the goal. AJ. Okay, I'm going to check that for sure in my thing. Yeah, Fanatic CSL Elite is what we've been talking about. Yes, El Bucho, I believe it does. But I hate depending on my memory. Whoa, what the hell? Security alert. I got something going on. You guys see that? That wasn't very comforting. Yeah, others are answering. I'm pretty sure it does. There, El Bucho. I mean, double check their website before you go buying one, please. But 99% sure, working on my memory here. So that does pretty much cover it for today's news. I don't have anything else. We've been here for 45 minutes talking about just general sim racing, which is the whole point. So I appreciate all your guys' feedback and comments being part of the pit crew. Bring up the map one more time. Just a little schedule update. So I'll be here for the news today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'll be here tomorrow, today and tomorrow, doing probably another stream on Assetto, Project Cars, and on Forza. Wednesday night, I will not be able to do a setup shop, and I will not be here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday at all. I'm out of town. I'm going to be in New York doing a big event there. So when I return, we'll get everything back up and running again. That means no sim tunnel this Saturday. Very sorry about that, but we will be back the following Saturday with the sim tunnel, and we will be back with the news. Let me just triple check my schedule. I'll be back on the news the day I get back, or the day after I get back, and I come back on Monday the 9th. So you can count on Tuesday the 10th, we'll be back with the news and picking up our schedule right where we left off, doing all of our Monday through Friday shows, 9 a.m. Pacific Time Standard, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time Standard on Saturday for the Sim Tunnel. And then we will also have some announcements for racing. But gear up for our sim racing systems next season. We're going to roll right into the next one. So get in there and do the race on Thursday, do the race on Friday, just to get up to speed with the guys. Last topic I'm going to bring up. Somebody said, what's the deal with the pickup racing in Forza 7? I can't remember if it was no, R-Factor 2. And when I talk about iRacing and speak highly, it's the competition model. One of the reasons I bring this back up is sim racing systems. Finding a league isn't easy. Finding a place to just run freely and get decent competition is not easy. And when you think about the open lobbies of R-Factor 2, Assetto Corsa, Forza, Project Cars, anything, it can get really messy. I did my stream the other day, did an open race in Forza, and just was getting smashed from everywhere. There was just no desire from people to drive correctly. Now, you can find a good stream, that's for sure, or a good race. That will happen also. But in general, you're going to need to find a league, and that can be difficult. But if you have Assetto Corsa, you run it on the PC, join Sim Racing System, and you're going to find league environment in a more open format. And that's the best answer, I think, without getting into iRacing, where you're paying for a license, and you're paying a lot of money, but you're getting some outstanding racing just because of that quality control of people spending so much money to be there. I think that alone keeps it a little bit cleaner. People have paid their hard-earned money to get there, just like a real race car. Now, you get crashing on iRacing too. Turn 1 is still turn 1 of any race, but it seems to be a little bit cleaner. Anyway, thank you, John. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Chili. Thank you, everybody, for joining here. I am not trying to name any names. I just saw some last-minute people saying thank you for the show, and I am bringing it to an end right here. And I really appreciate you guys being part of the crew, and we will be back tomorrow morning with another show of the Pit Stop, and I'll be back in just a little while. I'll probably take about 45 minutes off, and then we'll start streaming some Forza 7 with the CSL Elite steering wheel just to see how that goes. Actually, I have the shifter hooked up as well, so we're going to do some heel-toe shifting in Forza even, see how that works out. Anyway, thank you much for being here. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.